there are lots of concerns and confusions among people regarding their positions and designations, how to deal the changing scenario after reopening universities, colleges, and schools. What changes could be done in higher education of India on public level as well as student, teacher, and organization level? What about hostels, which can be potentially become a source of spreading the diseases? Directly, I am asking, sir, when will be actually the reopening in your perspective with complete normalcy?
Thank you so much. I must compliment you for drafting such pointed questions. These are very important. I think you have also done a lot of research in designing these questions. Now let me come back to this very important question, the second question that you have. Governments today, not only in India but otherwise, other countries also, are naturally more keen on opening malls and markets and bars and restaurants and industry. The reason is economy is going downhill. Of course, we have to worry about human health. But what is more important, I think there is a growing realization that there is bound to be some mortality. But how do we prevent deaths from starvation, and deaths from not enough food, deaths from not having any source of living, than deaths from COVID? And that's where the focus is on more on not I would say not much focus, understandably so, on schools and colleges. And here again, when you talk about education, I think we have to look at a very different sets of parameters when it comes to school education, and a entirely different set of parameters when it comes to university and college education. The schools, I think we are not even taking the opinions of parents. I do not know if there are any parent-teacher associations or advisory groups that are looking at these situations, are thinking about. There is a deep scare in all the parents. What should we do? I'll go back and take you to a recent study that was reported in the New York Times, I think a couple of days ago, where they have said in the US, 6 out of 10 parents want to continue home learning. 60%. What about teachers? Even 20% of the teachers said, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to return to classes at all. Why? Because of the uncertainty. Because we have to strike a balance between competing priorities. What are our priorities? We have to worry about the health and safety of the stakeholders, and primary stakeholders are the children or the students, and of course stakeholders also involve the school employees, including teachers and other employees. The second priority is COVID impact on jobs and families. That's also a major issue to worry about, and need to effectively educate our students. So how do we strike a balance between this? So how to marry the virus transmission to reduce that with educational needs? That is the primary question. And that question answer will depend on which sector we are looking at. Are we looking at sectors of primary education, elementary education, or secondary education, or post-secondary, that is college and university education? For the schools, again, there's a study carried out in the US where they are saying, let us follow a hybrid schooling model. And in fact, many schools in the US will now reopen with a hybrid schooling model. What is a hybrid schooling model? It will simply mean that the students will be divided into groups. One group will come to school on these days. The other days, other group will come, and this group will be allowed to stay. So almost a 1 week break, and then other group will come, another group break, and like that. So this is what is essentially putting very fewer students in the schools. Why? Because there are challenges. Imagine if there is a case that comes up in the school. So what do you do? How do you track the cases? And especially these schools, the children, they take the buses, they take public transport, depending on what kind of schools they have. Should the schools and college shut down if there is a case of COVID in the school? Today, if there is a COVID case in any government hospital, government institution, immediately there is a sanitization goes on, and the complete exercise is made to sanitize the entire place. Can we do this to the entire school? who all, where do we track, how do we track? In offices, you can track and say so and so met XYZ, so put XYZ also on quarantine. In the schools, can you do that? So these are real challenges. So what do we do? There is also a thought that let this year be a bridge year, which means give a compulsory rest for kids with, and more so for kids with special needs. Focus on those who have a special need. So that is where I think we need to worry about it, about the schooling part. For those which are in a university education, the issues are very different, and we'll come back to it as we move to the next question that you have.